Welcome back to Beyond the Nexus.
We'll be talking about 3 more teams that are headed to BlizzCon.
We also talked to some of your favorite players and have our top plays from the last week.
Let's get to it. This week in Heroes, we start off with a bit of news coming out of North America.
We here at Beyond the Nexus are really excited to announce that Astral Authority has picked up Murloc Geniuses, our #1 seed from North America going to BlizzCon.
Huge congratulations to them, but moving on to Korea, L5 was able to take out MVP Miracle, meaning L5 has qualified for BlizzCon.
That was a really emotional series. Not only do both of those teams have 2 ex-members of Team No Limits, making it kind of a rivalry match, but also it was the second time they've had to play against each other just in the round of 4.
Yeah, and speaking of emotions, both sides of the battlefield were brought to tears. L5 had Nacho Jin crying because he was so happy to finally qualify for a world championship. Meanwhile, MVP Miracle's crazy moving brought to tears for getting knocked out of the tournament.
Well, even though L5 have qualified, they're not quite done with the Super League just yet. They'll play against MVP Black tomorrow to determine who will be the #1 seed from Korea at BlizzCon.
And in Europe, we had the Nexus Games last weekend, while North America is still qualifying for the actual tournament. For EU, we had 6 best-of-5s to kick off the double elim tournament.
Yeah, and all of those matches were pretty one-sided, still showing that the skill gap that Europe has had between the top few teams and the rest is definitely still there. I mean, all of the matches except for one were clean sweeps.
Yeah, and this weekend we are going to have more games for both North America and Europe, so be sure to check them out.
Finally, 2 more teams have qualified for BlizzCon. First, in Southeast Asia, congratulations to Filipino team Imperium Pro Gaming. This is a super team of sorts, with 2 members coming from Renovatio 1, who represented the region at the Spring and Summer Global Championships, and then 2 members from Relics, who represented the region at the Americas Championship in 2015.
And for Australia and New Zealand, we had Reborn qualify for BlizzCon. They originally started the season under the name The Boys, which consisted of 4 out of the 5 members from Negative Synergy, who represented the region at both Spring and Summer Global Championships.
Well, with all that Heroes going on, there were bound to be some awesome plays. Let's check out the best of them from last week. We're starting off our top plays at #3 from the Nexus Games. This series is between the Jabronis and Vodka Paradise, where both cores have taken damage and the Jabronis know their opponents are at boss. Instead of taking the bait to fight, Danatan goes in, muscle guns blazing with Avatar, and stops Vodka Paradise from backing long enough that his teammates can backdoor.
A really smart choice here from them to send Murd in. He is by far one of the best heroes to be able to delay their opponents. And he was so successful that Vodka Paradise had some heroes who had to just run back to try and save their core. But it wasn't enough.
For #2, we have several plays from Nacho Jin playing Falstad in the last game between L5 and MVP Miracle. Nacho Jin was a beast all game long with both his mighty gusts and his aggressive flights. He also made Crazy Moving's life playing Vala very difficult, knowing that if he could take her out, Miracle had little damage.
Awesome job here from Nacho Jin, predicting where the ball is going to be moving, gets the epic flight, barrel roll in, and he'll be able to confirm the kill. Just constantly bullying Crazy Moving throughout this series.
And finally, at #1 is a play from the same series where Jungha is about to get a ridiculous Sunder, splitting Rhaegar from the team, killing him off, and not allowing him to save his teammates.
Putting SCSC in a perfect position to get max value out of his chain bombs. Great job there from Jungha, splitting the seas and confirming the win. And those were some of the top plays over the past week.
Now you're going to hear from some of your favorite players about how they got to be pros.
Practice, practice, practice.
We're talking about practice?
We practice 6 times per week, so we have like 1 day off. For a tournament, we usually play around 8 hours of practice.
When you think about video games, you think about muscle memory, and you want to practice so many times that it's a second nature. Practice helps you teach yourself that you can outplay the other person.
一个月只有2到3个休息日吧，然后除开休息日是每天中午12点到晚上12点。
Keep practicing. We practice about like 6 to 10 hours a day.
We all have a very good practice mentality, so there's no one too lazy.
When I came into competitive, I practiced about like 4 to 6 hours scrims and then 4 to 6 hours solo queue.
같이 연습실이 있어요. 그래가지고 연습을 거기서 해요. 팀적으로 한 8시간 하고 개인적으로 한 4시간 정도는 해요. 전 개인적으로.
I just really immerse myself into heroes, whether it be playing, studying, watching. Sometimes I'll just lay in bed and I'll be thinking about what hero combinations can I pull off that would make it really cool, what map and what hero, synergize well together. I get better by immersing myself completely in it.
The thing I do mostly is if I feel like I'm stagnating, I'll just look everywhere else in the world. I'll look at every other player, I'll look at everything else they're doing that's different to me, and I'll be like, maybe I'll try that, because it's something different to do. And maybe it'll teach me something new, either about that player, or about the character, or about, even how I play the hero, and maybe I was doing something wrong.
This week in What to Watch, tomorrow we have the Korean Super League Grand Finals between MVP Black and L5. These are two of the best teams in the world, so you are guaranteed some amazing Heroes action this weekend.
Also this weekend are the semifinals for the Taiwanese Regionals, putting us just one series away from knowing which team will represent that region at BlizzCon.
When this regional concludes, we will know the 12 teams that are going to be headed to BlizzCon to compete for $1 million.
And finally, also happening this weekend are the Nexus Games for both Europe and North America. Since Zarya and Warhead Junction are both available for play, make sure to check it out to see how your favorite teams will fare with the new patch.
But that's it here for us this week on Beyond the Nexus.
Tune in next week for an in-depth look at the two teams representing Korea at the Fall Global Championship, MVP Black and L5.
But until then, we'll see you in the Nexus.